The Twitch says it's happy. The YouTube says it's happy. Even the TikTok says it's happy. That implies to me that everyone is happy and I should get this evening out of the way. I'm not wearing my headphones, and I may just have doubled up, and that would have been hilarious. So I guess I'll find out later when I try again, or when I check, you know. Anywho, it is a Thursday night. Screaming Wyvern. Call myself Wyvern because, like a dragon, I hoard role playing games, but I'm also unbalanced and occasionally toxic. And as an example of my toxicity, tonight I'm going to quickly touch on the fact that itch.io has decided that it's going to take down anything that and by it, we mean a small group of Australian Christians have decided is offensive. Censorship is bad. And frankly, what most people think of as offensive and obscene tends towards being just LGBTQ plus or people of color. So specifically Black and Indigenous people. So not happy with that. I've got a lot of people whose stuff I have purchased on itch. So I'm not sure yet what to do, but not happy regardless. But anyway, it is a Thursday night, which is when I like to reach into my bag of holding and track down something that suits my mood. I'm actually doing part 2 tonight of Dungeon Local 001. 2 weeks ago, it was the 10th, I actually did a round of Dungeon Local. I have too many characters. What try these are these are the characters from the next game. I'm playing on the 10th. Dungeon 001 as a fully solo experience, and it basically came down to how to build a random dungeon with interesting prompts. But the problem I had with that is the fact that there was so much work done into this beauty of a game that I felt bad ignoring the full game opportunity. Dungeon Local 001 is designed as a 2, 3, or 4 player game with no game master. You roll the dice, you see what kind of area you have run into, and from there, you figure out what your people can do. And then after whatever the encounter ends up being, go ahead and draw a new map. A reminder of how your lovely time went. So let's go ahead and scooch over to my game screen. Dungeon Local 001, currently kind of front and center, mostly centered. There, that looks better on the Twitchy tube. I am using Dungeon Scroll again because it really is my kind of dungeon map. Let's go ahead and start us off right here. This is the Overseer room. Make big 44. Let's see this room much better. Okay, do I have this? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's on line. So, basic story. We are the inhabitants of a dungeon, not the adventurers heading into a dungeon. No, no, no. We are the actual residents of the dungeon, and we have just overthrown our local overlord. What's our overlord? Don't know yet. Okay, I just got a message on TikTok saying that my live is not eligible for recommendation because it contains unoriginal or reproduced content. So I guess no TikTok for me. Good to know. I will go ahead and deal with that later because I don't care right now. You can also go live with another creator. Yeah, it's been a great day for people not wanting to showcase things. Anyway, so yes, we have Buck written by Michael Elliott, art by Daniel Saltino, and back because frankly, I would be remiss in not showing off everything that Daniel has. So let's get started. You may notice that I am not wearing my cat ears. This is absolutely tragic for many people, but it's warm in here, so we're lucky that I'm not hearing the fan through the microphone. So let's go ahead. The Overlord is dead. The adventurers are gone. Time to organize. You lived and worked in the dungeon for as long as you can remember. You set traps, fed beasts, fought adventurers from outside, and did whatever you could to avoid the ire of the Overlord who ruled the dungeon. They barked orders and treated you all like necessary evils. Vermin they used to defend their lair, and then one day, the denizen killed the Overlord. Overlord. We're going to go ahead and change this. Yes. I play Fallout. How do you do? Overlord. Overlord. The police didn't need to deal with bodies anymore. They just shared their elixirs and rituals with other the community grows. Question: how can we make this dungeon our own? You were all chosen to explore, to map out the rest of the dungeon, to make it safe for its inhabitants, and make contact with the outside world. The Overlord is dead, and everything outside the sanctuary may be in ruins or worse, full of adventurers. What devious traps lay in your path? What lost treasure and magical items have been hidden away? What awaits you outside the dungeon? Play to find out what happens. Okay. Dungeon Locals is a dungeon crawling game for 1 to 6 players, unlike other fantasy games where someone outside a dungeon to kill monsters and get treasure. In Dungeon Local 001, you play the monsters, exploring the dungeon and making it a safe and beautiful place to live. You play dungeon denizens like ogres who built the dungeon, dwarves to make traps, or the skeletons who cleaned up all the blood. Each player creates their own characters, defined by the job they performed under the old Overlord. Players take turns generating random encounters like hallways full of traps, underground lakes full of beasts or other denizens, and then drawing them to create a map. Characters will accumulate stress as they explore the dungeon, and your characters will occasionally take breaks to recover and reminisce about their life here. At the end of the game, you'll have a dungeon full of unique encounters and characters that you can use in any other fantasy tabletop role-playing game. So, what you need, these rules, character sheets, tools for drawing a map. At least two succeeded for a few minutes to play. All of it I seem to have just fun. Um, this is a discussion here about safety tools. Always a good thing. I am doing a solo game, so not as important for me. I can pretty much tell what it is that I do and don't like. So step one, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my friendly notepad for journaling purposes. To play Dungeon Local 001, sit down with 1 to 5 other friends and everything in the What You Need section on page 3. Start by using the tables below to define the Overlord and what exists outside the dungeon. Or maybe not. Maybe skip a step and discover the details. Of course, if you're playing by yourself, then yeah, you really want to go ahead and take advantage of the randomization. So, I have Fantasy Ground open. Fantasy Ground, I'm going to change my dice because I food dice and I must love them. Let's go ahead and do the Twinkly Frost dice today. Okay, so make sure this all works. Yes. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and start off. Hold on a second. Why aren't you capture audio? There you are. Okay. Yeah, they put a lot of effort into the dice rolling noises, so let's go ahead and appreciate that. Oh, I can't just double click it. That's funny. All right. So, step one. Who was the Overlord? The Overlord was Dumana the Callous, a sorcerer. Okay, so clearly there's going to be a trend towards magical type stuff, so I'll have to keep that in mind. And where exactly is this dungeon anyway? Well, that would be under Rolling Hills, right outside a busy market town. That sounds like a great place to make a home. All right. So, we are going to, for the most part, use what's been given to us here. So, I'm going to make 3 characters. Character number 1 is going to be a cleaner. You dispose of corpses, mostly. Let me go ahead and grab the cleaner. It appears to me that the cleaner is an elf. Make sure that that's so. The cleaner has bottles of acid, camping supplies, cleansing rituals, corpse ledger, dead bodies, and a pushcart. Yeah, just a pushcart filled with dead bodies already. That's little soon. Okay. Where's my pen? I had a pen, well, fortunately I did something stupid called cleaning my desk, so God only knows now. It's not. Yeah. First time in my adult life. That was a mistake that I need to stop making. So I am going to, of course, use the names of my beloved pups because I don't want to think of new names. So I'm going to go ahead and name the cleaner after the dog that makes the most messages. The most misses. Who would be our Pomeranian Chester. So there is character number 1. I will go ahead and call him an elf based on the picture here, although I suppose he could be short. Underdark elf, whatever. Okay. Next character. That is a 1. A 1 is an assistant. You helped with the Overlord's plans and schemes. And that is clearly an orc. Helped with the Overlord's plans and schemes. I'm going to go ahead and name this one after my lost dog. This one will be Tyrion, which is also the reason why I'm choosing that name for this character, because if they are an assistant and schemer, well, Tyrion was named after Tyrion Lannister, so the ultimate in schemer. Until, all of a sudden he got his characters assassinated in the last season, but that's beside the point. And finally, for Mr. Cole Butler, we have an engineer. That sounds good. And the engineer looks like one of my favorite creature types. It's a kobold. Yes, a kobold. That's a monster. Built infrastructure, traps, and other devices. Okay, here we go. And as a natural, or all natural organic dachshund, as a purebred dachshund, is what I was originally going for. Cole is a perfect choice for this, and Cole will be a kobold. Kobold Cole works absolutely fine for me. So the engineer is coming with some building supplies, some camping supplies, some caution barriers, lots of rope skeleton keys, and trap components. I didn't actually mention it, but the assistance has a bag full of treasure, camping supplies, a fold-out chair, a fold-out desk, a treasure ledger, and writing tools. That is our trio. Hi, baby. And he has decided that he wishes to grace us with his presence. So here we go, everyone. This is Roll the Licky. He had to go to the doctor's today, and he got sedated. So he is very stressed because he doesn't feel quite right. So let's go ahead and let him be on my lap while I play. As long as I'm still in the screen, obviously now everyone still wants the screens to just be a dog, but it's my show, damn it. Mana the Callous is dead. 3 of us have decided to take care of the other denizens. So, the first thing we do is each player rolls a d6 twice to generate an encounter. That gives us an encounter table, and then give us the specific encounter on that table. And then we make a simple drawing on the map to illustrate it. And then each player rolls 1d6 to see how their character helps overcome the encounter. This is called an action roll. And then the action rolls get rolled. So you can either do what the suggested action is, or you can use one of your items instead. Somehow I got dog drool on my glasses. Amazing. And then based on what happens there, then we go ahead and we make updates to the map to show what kind of stuff happens. Now, there's a stress mechanics. When the characters get stressed, they don't work so good. So as soon as everyone gets 6 stress, we need to rest for night. And the recommendation is that on the 3rd rest, that's probably been a good adventure. So let's go ahead and put down quickly. Don't have Tyrion at 0, Chester at 0, and Cole at 0. This is absolutely incorrect on the middle one because Chester, being a Pomeranian, is only slightly less stressed than a Chihuahua. Okay. And making camp is kind of a journaling opportunity. And yeah, play until your players have made camp 3 times. Should give you about 6 encounters. Okay, so if you watch last week's, then this section right here is basically to replace the characters deciding what they do. So we won't be doing that one this time. So let's go ahead and start off with a roll of 2d6. Bounce, dice, bounce. And deafen people, because that probably is more loud than necessary. Okay, encounter page 2, encounter number 1. Okay, so out from the Overseer's room, let's go ahead and do this. One adventuring paladin is making camp in a small cave. There we go. Nice cave. Okay. Let's see. When they see you, the paladin draws their warhammer and vows bleed you and that's not very nice, and I wish they would not do that. So I have Tyrion with a roll of 3. What's that? 2.1. Chester with a roll of 2. And if Irony is watching us, oh no, not Irony is not watching us that well. So Cole rolled a 5. So we will be having Cole be our first, followed by Tyrion and then Chester. So it doesn't actually help with the paladin problem, but a roll of 4 or 5 means that the engineer discovers a secret door or shortcut between areas. This kind of makes sense because this cave should not be the only thing here. So let's go ahead and draw ye old S, the universal sign of secret doorage. And let's also increase the size of the S to 55, that it's more obvious. And because that looks a little hard to read, let's go ahead and start a path out here that leads to wherever that leads. There is a door with the S in it. Okay, so one secret door found by Cole. That was an amazing thing to do. Not completely helpful, but thank you nonetheless. Okay. Tyrion with a 3. So either I can use one of my items, or one of the Overlord's minions, rituals, or plots is revealed. Everyone marks 1 stress. What did you uncover? So this is to deal with the lone adventuring paladin. This is the last room next to the Overlord's room. There is a secret door, but for some reason this cave is set up right here. So why would the Overlord want to have a paladin right next to their room? This is Sumana the Callous, a sorcerer, but Sumana may have been working on learning necromancy and had, quote, invited, end quote, a paladin to drop by in order to use them as an unholy Death Knight. Or maybe a holy Death Knight. I mean, it's entirely possible that just because Sumana the Callous is a sorcerer, a necromancer, that they follow one of the gods of good. Maybe that's the real reason why we decided to kill them, because we're just, we're tired of living with such a goody two-shoes. No, I think we can go ahead and stay with the unholy Death Knight. So, Chester. Oh, wait. Everyone marks 1 stress. Interesting stuff, but still frightening. Okay. So you discover someone's corpse. Everyone marks 1 stress. Who were they? What killed them? We have a very simple answer on the second one. The paladin. The paladin killed them. Okay. I think we go around. Hey, say hi to nice people. Hey, nice people. So, we know that the paladin was here. We've got the small cave here. We've got a secret door. Paladins are not known for their thieving abilities. Let's go ahead and say, find that one. Vision 1 or 2? I feel like I've... So right there is the door to the Overlord's room. So I believe that as part of this ritual, she had several paladins and enchanted them all to see everyone as hostile. So the paladin is a survivor, and there are dead paladins in the area. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick check on playing the game. So I think now that we know exactly what's going on there, Custer, our elven cleaner, is a master of cleansing rituals. So probably if we can get rid of that unsightly enchantment on them, that'll cause the paladin to not be that bothered by us and far more bothered by what he has done. So that should give him a reason to stay here for a bit. I do have to deal with the fact that everyone is slightly stressed. So I've got some images here. Let's see if we've got any lovely things that I can put here. Oh, here's a broken shield. That's perfect. Would be perfect. Oh, if I was paying attention to where things were. I created many shields here in the center of the... Oh my god, I just kept clicking that button. Go ahead and rotate that a little. There we go. And this one is going to be upside down. Oh, and here's a non-broken version of the shield to represent the paladin. Okay. So that is our first room. We now have our first resident has been located. Let us go ahead and call him Cecil, the Remorseful Paladin. Cecil obviously no longer has his the favor of his god for his crimes. So very tragic. But we will let Cecil decide whether he wants to stay with us or not. But for now, we need to move on to the next room. I was trying to start typing. I have to actually discover which room it is. So, region 4, encounter number 3. A wall in this hallway has collapsed and molten lava has poured inside. So let's go ahead and start off with this remaining a cavernous area. And then we'll go ahead and start making it into a room. But given the lava situation, it's not going to be the best of rooms. I'm going to go ahead and go to the and we'll go ahead and add a stalagmite situation there. So this is area 4-3. Where is the lava coming from? Has it made incursions into other parts of the dungeon? We are underneath a rolling hills. I won't be too surprised if it turns out that we have some fire elementals in the area. When in doubt, blame a fire elemental. Let's go ahead and quickly do our... We'll go ahead and literally quickly do our rolls. Tyrion with a 2. Chester with a 4, and Cole also with a 2. So, Chester the cleaner will be going first. Well, I've got some bottles of acid. I'm sure that I could make a huge dent there. I'm going to go ahead and use the action roll. You clean the area and reveal something dangerous. Everyone marks 1 stress. And I think we will go with the previous thought, which is... There we go. That's a lovely circle. Okay. So this right here is what's left of a shrine or a summoning circle they were using to can I move you? No, I can't. So anyway, this area was apparently used for summoning from the elemental plane of fire. Apparently, Sumana was not exactly sure what they wanted to do with their power. Maybe necromancer? Maybe elementalist? Who knows? Looks like I've applied the stress from that, but that goes perfectly with the thought process I already had. We'll go ahead and go with Tyrion next. One of the Overlord's minions, rituals, or plots is revealed. That seems redundant. I'm going to go ahead and say that definitely we know what the plot is. They were trying to do a summoning ritual here. Nope, that's too far down. It was worth trying. Okay. And while we are in here, a hidden trap goes off. So, what kind of trap do we have in a summoning room? Well, it has to be something to make sure that people don't mess with the ritual. Go ahead and throw that door in there. I don't know what that means. Yep. Nope, no idea what I just did there. Okay. This is the door type we're looking for. It's right there. But I don't seem to be able to divide it. Well, whatever. Okay, do we have any trap pictures? Oh, here's some lovely trap pictures. Okay, so you're coming from here, and you're wandering through. And obviously, the old ways are always the best ways. So it is a shame. Oh, let's go ahead and use this pit trap here too. Not too big. There we go. Put that right there. Fortunately, kobolds are very good at avoiding trappy wappy, so no worries there. In fact, I think it's safe to assume that even though he triggered it, it probably was one that Cole had made. So obviously, we're not going to go any further in here because there is way too much elemental plane of fire coming through. So let's head back over this way. Everyone is at 4 stress, so there's going to be a rest period coming up. So, all right. The opposite of what we had the first time. Area 1. Encounter 2. Okay, a hallway lined with... Nope. 2 suits of magically animated armor guard a staircase leading up. They come to life when anyone approaches, but they haven't been oiled in ages and can't move easily. One of them lies all the time. So let's go ahead and give them a nice staircase to be guarding. And make sure I'm in draw mode. Okay. So there we go. More. Oh, here's some lovely suits of armor, absolutely perfect for our needs. So they're all squeaky and can't move too well, which is very sad for them. Let's see what our characters can do with them. Well, I know what Chester can do with them, obviously. It wouldn't be from fire, it would be from earth, wouldn't it? Or both. Why not both? Okay, so our assistant rolled a 6. And a 6 basically means helping someone else. The thing is, I don't feel like this is much of an encounter for our character. We're going to go ahead and Bob and Bob, the enchanted armors, can be found here, where they traditionally guarded the staircase. Instead of going by the exact writing, I think that Tyrion is just going to go ahead and let our cleaner clean. They have recently been polished and made shiny and are again ready to protect the staircase to the former Overlord's lair. Okay, so what we do have to deal with here is the fact that we now have a staircase that is going up. I have done that completely wrong. Okay. So this is the top of the stairs and it goes down. Got it. Okay. And I can go dungeon lair and make this a nice little hallway. Okay, I'll go ahead and add Hob and Bob to the list of residents in case we need them later. And no one got stressed by any encounters there, so that's nice. All right. Next room. Ooh. Room 65. I forgot to mark the Hob and Bob staircase. 1-2. Now we'll go over here. 6-5. A wide staircase leading to a higher level. There is a hidden mechanism in the staircase that causes the stairs to collapse. Okay, this leads to a question. Is this description wrong and it actually leads to a lower level? Or is this question correct and the rolling hills are not as pleasant a place as they could have been? I think I'm going to go ahead and say that the direction on here is incorrect. So that we have the same the overseer's room on the bottom floor. Because I don't see how for our story we can make that particular thing work. Let's go ahead and name this area 6-5. So 6-5 is a stairway going down. The stairway is trapped so that the steps can be collapsed. And that the trigger for this trap is in Hob and Bob's room. All right. So let's see what else is going to happen while we're here. Okay. Let's see. We have a 3 and 2 5s. Okay. So we're going to start off with Chester and his 5. You clean the area and reveal something dangerous. Everyone marks 1 stress. What do you find? Okay. So this is on the way to the overseer. There is a pseudo mimic. So lurker above was a. Did I drop an image there? Thank you. Did I drop an image there? I don't think I did. Not that I may be able to. Let's go ahead instead of a lurker. What's the opposite of a lurker? So Lurker was this manta ray type thing that would live on the ceiling and ambush from the top. And there was okay, there we go. The Trapper. So there is a trapper that lives in this hallway. So let's go ahead and do a. Can you do me a rug? Yes, you can do me a lovely rug. Oh, very lovely rug. Okay, we'll go ahead and use this one. So yeah, there is a trapper down here. So on here, there is apparently another secret door or shortcut. Let's go ahead and say that would be right next to where the lurker is to avoid you are supposed to be you're supposed to be making a door here. There we go. And capital S. So then Tyrion, with your roll of 3, one of the Overlord minions, rituals, or plots is revealed. Well, that's obviously already been taken care of. So yeah. Although it tried to bite, let's see, have a trapper. It's kind of like a manta ray. Let's go ahead and call it Tad, the trapper. Because I am sure that we were able to get it to lay off of us thanks to Tyrion's knowledge and that bag of gold he carries around with him. So, I'm going to ignore the secret room for now. Let's keep going upwards. This brings us to room 2-5. Okay. A rival dungeon organization surprises you in an intersection of hallways. Who are they? What do they call themselves? Why don't you get along? Well, I think that the fact that it's a rival dungeon organization kind of answers that first question. So this is an intersection of hallways. Let's go ahead and have one that's going this way. Oops. I have that on the right still. Let's go ahead and change that back to draw. So I have one going this way and one going this way. And we encountered them right here. So obviously the problem is that somebody let them know that the Overlord, trying very hard not to say Overseer again, the Overlord is dead. And they were on the way to pay their respects, which is to say, fight their way in. So, we'll go ahead and get an order of events. That puts Chester very much as the first person. So Chester is our cleaner. Um, Given the fact that we're dealing with a rival group, I don't think that you clean the area and reveal something dangerous is much of a surprise in this particular situation. So let's go ahead and go to their supplies. So they have acid and camping supplies, corpse ledger. So based on the rolls, our Tyrion character is going to be finding one of the plot plans or something. Our Cole character, on the other hand, will be finding a trap. And I think that probably solves our problem, at least somewhat, in that we can go ahead and um, while Tyrion and Chester are arguing with everything, I'm going to move the words. Cole popped open a little trap. So let's go ahead and make a note here that a rival dungeon organization attempted to ambush our cleaning crew at this intersection. However, Cole was able to open the trap beneath them, making them no longer as much of an organization and more little sticky things on the top of pikes. Okay, so that is rest one. Then the cleaning crew rested. Okay. Making camp. So in order to clear stress, each player needs to take a camp action. Let's see, who is most likely to be a pleasant cook? Well, both the cleaner and the engineer have camping supplies. Oh, they all have camping supplies. Excellent. Cole cooked a nice dinner of unknown meat for a group, while Chester tried to paint pictures of the literally fallen rivals. Tyrion, as the Overlord's right hand, reminisced on his distraction and betrayal of the sorceress, leading her open to strikes by some of the more combative denizens. His fellow orcs, who until now had resented him, but when he made the plot, regained their respect. That's nice. Okay. And then we moved on. Where are we going next? We're going this way. 6-4. We have not done 6-4 yet, so copy over. It wasn't 6-. Okay, we have done 6-4. In fact, we. Oh, no, we haven't. You find another group of dungeon denizens raiding one of the overlords is pleasurable. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead. It just so happens that it's another rival group. Probably we just killed their friends, so Well, it's probably not going to go too great. I have damaged reality with that square. Let's go ahead and erase some of this region. And then we can go ahead and have a north-south. And then we can do a perfectly normal door. Okay, so that probably would have a door if it weren't for the fact that it's been broken down. Okay, you find another group of dungeon denizens raiding one of the Overlord's treasure vaults, which was hidden behind a sacred door, allegedly. In the hallway, when they see you, they draw their weapons. Formerly, secret treasure vault. A group of denizens from a rival dungeon made their way into this room and tried to kill the cleaning crew, which is amazingly rude. Okay. So Chester and Cole have both managed to roll 60s. I just said 60s. That's absolutely fascinating. But I'm actually going to skip to Tyrion because he rolled a 1, which says one of the Overlord's minions, rituals, or plots is revealed. We already know that we have some elemental plane of fire interest here. Go ahead and put this lovely rug slightly offset because Tyrion pulled it outside so that he could reveal the summoning circle and make the fire elemental, or oh yeah, fire elemental. A fire elemental was summoned, and the rival denizens. Okay, I cannot spell denizens. There we go. We're fed to it. So a roll of 6 for the cleaner is making the area safe and reveal something useful or interesting. But for the engineer, it's redesigning the room to make it safe and useful. I think that the most useful thing right now is to have a room specifically designed for the fire elementals. So then, Cole rebuilt this vault to be a home for the fire elemental and his family, with fire pits and other... With fire pits. Let's see. Cooking fire, campfire, fire. Oh, we can start off with a nice simple fireplace. Oops, that is not what I meant here. One goes here. We'll go ahead and do some bits. One there, and one there. And let's take that out, because I don't think that the fire elementals are too happy about ornate rug. And then we have these fire firewood for snacking. There's a lovely campfire. We'll go ahead and put the campfire in the summoning circle. Makes sense to me. Okay. What's next? Staying. Oh. Did it again. So that was 6-4. Oh. So 6-2. Okay, 6-2. The ceiling of this hallway is partially collapsed. Some dirt and stone bricks fall as you look at it, and is in danger of fully caving in. -2. Okay, let's get our characters' roles. Okay, we start off with Chester. Chester's role is you've discovered someone's corpse. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. So we have this hallway. The hallway has started collapsing. This is the person who either started it collapsing or was first to experience it collapsing. So this is we'll go ahead and just take the whole thing down. This is a collapsed hallway. The feet of a goblin explosive miner from another dungeon could be found near the start of the collapse. Separate from wherever the rest of the body ended. So this is a room no more. Let's go ahead and delete. Okay. Well, we're not going any further that way. And that's fine. Okay. How's everyone doing? Everyone's only got a stress of 2, right? Let's see what is over here. And then I can draw it. 1-4. Do I have a room 1-4? I do not. All good. Okie dokie. 1-4. A small room with a stone pedestal in the center. Floating atop the pedestal is a magical sphere of annihilation that destroys anything that touches it. Let's go ahead and have this go this way. And we will draw the room. And we need a pedestal. It's another word for pedestal. Let's go ahead and do altar. Good old faithful. Okay. What do we do with a room that has a sphere of annihilation on it? Stay the hell out of that room. Is my vote, but let's see what happens. Okay, if we start off with Tyrion, you make everything complicated. Everyone marks 1 stress. What did you do? What did you do, Ray? So we can't have a sphere of annihilation. Just here, being a danger to things. So we need to figure out some way getting rid of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie rope around it. No, that's not going to work because then it destroys the rope. Okay. So what if we use we've got some cooking supplies, so why don't we use something to make to like a pot? You can no, because it will destroy the pot. So after a lot of useless discussion, Chester's role was you clean the area and reveal something dangerous. And Cole would trigger a hidden trap. So I think all we really can do here as no an altar here. has a sphere of annihilation floating on it. Since none of the cleaners were particularly magically inclined and had nothing that could be used to capture the sphere, Cole ended up just surrounding it with caution, barriers, and do not touch tape. I haven't used the word room to this point. Why am I starting now? Okay, let's see what our next place is. Room 3-4. Okay, well, this kind of makes perfect sense next to the room that for some reason has a sphere of annihilation. So I'm going to go ahead and build this room and give it a door. Okay. In a dark room behind a closed door, you hear chanting. A small group of loyalist denizens are dressed in robes and attempting to conduct a magical ritual to resurrect the Overlord. And we worked so hard to kill them in the first place. So somehow we overlooked the fact that the Overlord had been wandered off. These things happen sometimes. Okay. Let's do our rolls. Loyalist to the Overlord had claimed this room for the purpose of resurrecting them. Okay, 4, 3, and 6. Okay. A rule of 6 is you redesign the room to make it safe and useful. That is lovely, but I don't think that it helps us deal with the current people inside. Next off would be Tyrion, who makes everything complicated, trying to talk everyone out of resurrecting them, probably by using the Overlord's treasure, which they then take umbrage to. Because obviously the Overlord should have the Overlord treasure once as soon as the Overlord is back alive. So why would the cultists want to have the treasure? So just before they leave this room and head back to that secret room that we found before, hoping that the cultists will all fall in the pit trap or get eaten by the trapper. Chester throws a whole bunch of bottles of acid. The group ran, but first, Chester threw several bottles of acid into the onto the Overlord's corpse, making it impossible for them to be resurrected. So the cultists may still be there. We'll put them down as residents, angry loyalists, cultists. Let's see, we already did a Bob, so we can't start with that one. Dave. Sorry, Matthew. Chris. That's a good one. And Jenny. Yes, here we are in our fantasy world with Chris and Jenny. Okay, so they have fled down to here, which brings us to room 2-4. Oh god, that room is not familiar to me. Let's see. 2-4. A massive armored worm burst through the wall of this hallway and eats stone and anything else that gets trapped in its mouth. So obviously that means that we've got this, and then we've got kind of a connected area, which is filled with worm slime. How do I worm slime? I have no slime. Okay, so this hallway has had several pathways created from a giant armored worm crawling through it. Okay. 4-2-4. That's just making everything complicated. You cleaned the area and revealed something dangerous. Is there something more dangerous than a giant armored worm? The cleaning party decided to just leave it alone. So, needless to say, that is an additional stressor. So we're not completely sure where the dungeon goes next. But I think this is a lovely point to go ahead and stop it before I reveal all the secrets of the encounters. So that was Dungeon Local 001 by Michael Elliott. And that is how it is played. So if it's not clear, the way it works is that although I was playing 3 characters at once, everyone would be able to roll their encounter, decide what the basic room looked like. They would then go ahead and each decide what they were doing based on their die roll for pseudo initiative. And from there, add more to the map to finish it off. So it still makes for a lovely dungeon. And everyone fits up. But for tonight, I'm going to call it good. And of course, as always, remember to be one of the good ones because there's way too many of the bad. And I will see you next week.